Greetings, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much. I have been seeing your subscriptions, your likes, your comments, all the interactions that you've been making on the page. I am so grateful. Thank you so much. Keep on doing that. To the 111 plus of you who have subscribed, I truly appreciate you, and I am so glad to have you in my little corner here where I speak about my experiences, the lessons that life has taught me, sometimes forcefully, because sometimes life will teach you a lesson that you didn't think you needed. So that has been me on my journey as well. I've decided to do this video just before Friday because I could see the impact that the last video, the unemployment showed me flames, part two had such an impact on people. People were very emotional, people were attached, because for the first time I was speaking out about something that maybe they wanted to know what really happened that side. So those were some of the things that happened. And even though I don't like to dwell more on the negative things that happened, because truly speaking, I have healed. And I think, okay, let's say I'm healing, but I have done a lot of healing where this is concerned, and I'm only sharing it now because I can handle it. Like now I feel like whatever opinions that people can have about this certain topic, I can take it because I've dealt with it, I've made peace with it. And that is why now it's a lesson. It's just one of those things that happened that I'm looking back on, but it's definitely not something that defines me. It's something that, it's just a chapter that I don't like reading out loud, but it's something that I had to get out of the way. So fast forward to, okay, so we ended things on the last video when now I was in the house already knowing what is going on or is happening, and plotting against it, and making that conscious decision that this is not how my life is going to end, and this is not going to continue. It has already gone long enough, but I understand that because, well, I am in a foreign country and I need to really plan ahead and be sure about what I'm planning off before I make my move. Otherwise, I knew from the beginning, I knew from the onset that this is not what is going to happen to me. I am not this person. I've never been someone who takes easily to being bullied. Like, I don't like bullies. I don't like bullies, and I always want to prove them wrong. Even with the kids, I notice how sensitive I am. Like when my kid or when one of my siblings' kids comes back from school and they've been, they've had some altercation with another kid and there was some sort of bullying there, I turn red because I don't take nicely or kindly to bullying. I don't like it. But on the other hand, I have forgiven Mogai. I have forgiven Mogai because he taught me a lot of things, especially things that I didn't think I needed to learn. There was so much good that came out of that situation that it could not bring me to completely hate him. Of course, I hated what he did because it wasn't nice. It wasn't nice, and I'm a person who, I'm gentle, I'm sensitive, and all of that. But I when I was really having those moments of truths with myself, I made, a few conclusions, and I will be discussing them with you. But before I discuss these, I just want to shed some light onto how I escaped, and also send a message of gratitude to people who helped me out. So firstly, I had colleagues that I was speaking to and making sure that I'm safely home, because at that time my plan was just to go home. Like, I was hurtful. I knew that, okay, I may not have a job when I get back to South Africa, but at least I'll be with my family and at least I'll be safe, because there were times when I didn't know if I'm going to live or not. I didn't know what to expect. You see, when a person is constantly threatening you, you start wondering, how safe you are and how much your ancestors can, go far this time. And you wonder, are my ancestors here in Texas, Dallas? So those are some of the things that I was thinking of. I was more worried about my safe and returning to my family in one piece. So today I'm going to be focusing mostly on the good that came from that situation. Firstly, I learned that like I can plot something. I can come up with something, because I actually did, just I felt like I was in a movie, at some point in that setup, because when I was planning my escape, looking at the people, just watching them and thinking, what are they going to be saying? The conversations that are going to be going on in the house when they realize that I'm not coming back, all of those things, and just knowing that I'm still going to do it. They don't know me. So I learned how to, plan something on my own without much influence, outside influence, and actually come up with it. Because I packed my bag, or because Mogai was out of the house most of the time. So I took most of the clothes that I knew that I'm going to need. And then I took my suitcase outside. There were a lot of trees outside and bushes. So I hid it there. And then when he was gone to fetch the wife in Fort Worth, which was about maybe he took like an hour to come back. So I knew that was my time to leave. And then I told the kids, I locked the kids inside the house, and I told them that, listen, you must only open the door for your parents. I'm taking a jog. So that was me. And I remember that time calling my mother and being like, Mom, I'm about to take off. I'm about to take off, and I need you to pray for me, because at this instant, I'm feeling very, I don't know, I'm scared, because I know that it's do or die. I know that this is a point of no return. I know that if Mogai catches me trying to run away now, I don't know what's going to happen, because like I said, you don't know what will happen to you once the people are aware that you are aware of what they are doing. So I had all of those things in my mind as well that I had to consider. So I took off, and then I took my jog. I think on the way I got frightened, I got scared, and I started crying, because while I was crying and calling my colleague who was supposed to fetch me and take me to this place of safety where I was going to crash and be there until Friday, because I was just waiting for Friday. I managed to take my card, the one that Mogai was keeping. I managed to take it, and because I knew the pin, it was given to me anyway. So I took it, and then I was just like, okay, I'm going to hide out at this place, because it was a Wednesday when I escaped. And then I was like, okay, so I'm just going to stay here. And then Friday, when my salary comes in, I'm booking a flight, I'm going back home. So for me, that was the plan, that was the idea that I initially had in mind. On the road, when I was crying and running, I was stopped by a lady who was walking her two dogs, and then she asked me what's going on. So I told her that I'm trying to run away from a situation like this. I think I'm being a slave there, even though like it's not being said in many words, but I don't like how things are going. And she was like, oh my God, these things really happen here in these neighborhoods, and we just don't know about it. She was really shocked and taken up, and she was like, you know what? In this very street, there's a lady who volunteers at this other organization that comes through for women like you who have been abused, who have been trafficked, some of them. So if you are a woman and you are in a disadvantaged situation at that time, for whatever reason, they take care of you, and they're called Unbound. So she took me, and I was like, okay, cool, let's go. Because I was still waiting for my friend to fetch me anyway. And I did want to be in a safer place, so that even if Mogai comes home and realizes that I'm not home, and he decides to drive around the neighborhood, he might not find me, because I was not trying to be found by him. I was trying to escape from him, in that life that he was forcing onto me, because I knew that is not my life. That is not what I'm going to spend the rest of the year doing, because it's just not in me to be like that. I'm a free spirit, and I like to be treated as such. So that was it was a rude awakening. It was a rude awakening, but it helped me in many ways. I felt like, sometimes you go so off path that bad things, that certain things that start looking fine, like you normalize a lot of things, and those are the things that Mogai actually brought to my attention. Those are the things that he rubbed into my face, the things that I had normalized, the things that I was happily doing or openly doing, because I felt like, no, they know this is who I am. Like, yeah, this is who I am. I do this is how I live. So he made me question a lot. I had to now, after a day of being tortured, after a day of being reminded of my sins, in everything that I've been doing, I sat down with myself and I really thought, but he's right about this, you see. And I started making those decisions in my life that were going to make me a better person. So that is why I could never bring myself to hate him completely, because even though he was very rude in his approach, it really kind of helped me and aided in my situation, because I was a bit far gone. I was like, there are some things and that you look at and you say, that was rude, but maybe I needed it. I needed someone to tell me the truth like that, because I had developed this very thick skin, on how to not let things get to me. Sometimes even the good things, even the good advices that I was getting from other people, I was always on defense mode to that point. So I think his abuse, his bullying, broke it down, broke down those walls. And I started seeing the truth for what it is. And I started making those changes that were going to benefit me as well, because he did make some valid points, you see. So that's just one of the things I realized, that hate him all you want, but I feel like some of the things that he brought to your attention had to be. And because he did, you finally made those changes, and you finally owned up, to some of the things that were not good, that you were engaging on. It finally brought back that thing of saying, maybe I shouldn't really be doing this. Why do I feel so bad that it is now brought out into the open? If I'm so comfortable doing it, or if it's so acceptable, why now am I so ashamed that it's being shown to other people? So this means that I'm a hypocrite, you see. So I had to have those really uncomfortable conversations with myself at some point, to say, how much have I really contributed to the person that I've turned out to be? How much have I really contributed to my own suffering? So for me, that experience was a turning point. And for that, okay, thank you. Another thing I learned, don't send nudes. I know my brothers are not going to be happy about this one, but sending nudes, I know that sometimes when you're in a long distance relationship and all of that, you just want to send nudes, but don't, because you don't know how they will be used against you. So those are some of the things that I had to, make peace with. And also when I was in that, when I was at Unbound, that organization that helps women, I got to speak to a lot of people who had gone through things, and that also brought a lot to my attention, about things that we sometimes go through as people, and on what they are actually there to teach us. Sometimes I feel like things don't come there to disrupt you, situations don't come there to destroy you. They actually come to clear your path, to make you see maybe something that you have been missing. So for me, that was okay. That was like, okay, you're here now, I'm suffering, but what have you come to teach me? So I started looking at that experience from that angle, and I learned a lot, even about myself, even about some of the things that I really, really had to look into there to see if, is this something that I still want to continue doing? Is this something, a route that really is still appealing to me? Do my friends, or these people that I call my friends, really mean this much to me? Because like during that time, I also found out a lot about the people that I had considered to be my friends. I found out a lot about them. You put people on a pedestal. You put people up there thinking that, okay, this is my family, these people, we grew up together, these people have been through it with me. But only like that time, that experience brought out a lot, because like I said, that Mogai is so manipulative, and Mogai has a way of getting things out of people. He managed to get some really deep and hidden things out of people that I had trusted. People who had now turned against me and were actually fueling this fire by even sharing some of the things to Mogai about why he was right about what he was doing, why he had to keep on torturing me, why I belonged to the streets, why like I deserved everything that was coming to me. So like I was surprised at how my besties, people that I had considered to be my besties, were willing to throw me under the bus, to a stranger they had not even met. So it was bad, but it opened my eyes. It was one of those storms that gave me a lot of clarity as to who were these frenemies, because if you are able to speak so ill of me to a stranger you have not even met, how much more do you say behind my back? And what are your thoughts on me? Like, it helped me to see people who had been hating on me all along and pretending to be my friend. And I was so vulnerable to them, sharing my experiences, sharing my life with people who were not afraid to throw me under the bus. I was in another country. This man could have done anything to me, but they fueled it. I could have died. So I saw people's true colors and I acted accordingly, because there's no way I'm going to have people like that in my circle. So that experience again was painful, but the lessons, the clarity that I got, I needed, even though at the time I didn't realize how much I needed it, but I did. Because you don't want to have such people around you. You don't want to be sharing your secrets with such people, because I don't believe that I want to change how I am. I'm not going to stop loving people and trusting them with the details of my life. No, I'm not that kind of person. That would kill me. I'm born to speak out about things that matter to me. I'm born to vent if I want to vent. So what I decided and what I learned from that experience was that I don't have to change myself. I can only change who has access. And that's what I did. That's what I'm doing. And it's really working for me, because I'm now surrounded by people that I know where they stand with me, and I know where I stand with them. Because at that time, I was shocked to learn that the people that I thought were in my corner had my back did not. They did not. Another thing I learned from that situation is to boundary up. Boundary up. Keep some things to yourself. There are some things that people don't have to know about you, no matter how bad they are. Pray about it if it's too heavy for you to bear, but keep it to yourself. Keep some cards close to your chest. People don't have to know everything about you. That's how you give your power out. And that's how you give them ammunition on how to destroy you. So you've got to be careful about what you are telling people, because other people cannot wait to use that same information to bury you. So be very careful. No matter how happy you are, no matter how intoxicated you are, your spirit it must be rooted inside you to people have a lot going on in their lives that they don't tell you about, and that's how you think they've got their lives on point. That's how even now, with all their skeletons and their shenanigans, you don't know about them because they keep quiet. So I learned that people don't have to know everything about me, because I don't know everything about people. Mokai was actually happy to tell me that there are things that I will never tell you because I don't trust you. And that is okay. I was offended at that time, but I actually respect him for that. Keep some things to yourself, because who knows, maybe if he had told me, I'd be telling you now here on this YouTube channel. I'd be telling you. You see? So it's good that he kept them to himself, and I kept assuming. And that is one lesson I learned from him. Keep some things to yourself. Another thing is that, like, that experience really strengthened my relationship with God, because I felt like I was in the wilderness. I felt like I was trapped. I was alone. I felt like my life was crumbling down. I felt at that time it was only God who can get through to me, because even my family, with their undying love and their prayers, because I remember my mom did not sleep during those times. She was always praying. She was always burning incense, talking to the ancestors, begging them for their protection. We used to talk on the phone, and she'd be like, "My child, you'll be fine. You will come back in one piece." You see, so it strengthened that bond, because I knew that I'm not alone. It might seem that my ancestors are quiet, but they're there. And those ancestors, whatever you want to call them, angels, whatever, but the Spirit of God that was with me at that time, I can never deny it. And also thanking my bishop. Bishop T.D. Jakes is a very big part of my life. He doesn't know me yet, but I will tell him one day when I meet him how much he has been there for me, how much he pulled me out of some really, really dark places, how much when I wanted to give up, he said, "Hold on." Because the sufferings of today, the pain and the agony that you feel cannot be compared to the joy that is coming. Those are the words that kept ringing in my head. Those are the words that strengthened me and gave me that push to go on, even when I was literally drowning. I could feel myself drowning, and I could feel this one being that one that would blow me, like that one that would, no, I've had these similar experiences, like I've had bad things happening in my life, but not to this magnitude. So that is when I learned that God really does have my back. Whether I like to admit it or not, he does. So for me, that was still thank you. Because if I had not been put in that hot water, I wouldn't have known how much God can really have your back and how much God can really go out to protect his own. I wouldn't have known. And if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have met some of the most amazing people that I came across, people who were there for me, people who were more focused on seeing me get back up on my feet, get another job, get a car, get a nice apartment in the US still. Thank you so much to those people. And actually yesterday it was Dad's birthday. I'll talk about him in one of the episodes when I talk about the people that really came through for me when I was in the US going through the most. And Tyrone Griffiths and Shelby Griffiths are one of those people, my American parents. So I wouldn't have met them. I wouldn't have met Michael. I wouldn't have met AJ. I wouldn't have met Sarah, my Egyptian princess. I wouldn't have met Mama Esther. You see, people who took me into their homes, opened up their homes for me and loved me. I wouldn't have met them, and I wouldn't have learned about discipleship, taking care of people that you don't know just because you're a good person and you're a person of God. I wouldn't have known if those people if that situation had not occurred. So there are some things that are going to happen in your life to teach you a few things that you might not know yet. So for me, I still went away with that the people that believe in God will still get their happy ending, because I believe that I'm getting mine. I am at peace. And it was a decision that I had to make consciously to say, I'm hurting, I've been played, I've been robbed, but this is not how I'm going to end. You see, this is not how my story ends. I refuse. And because of that, it didn't end that way. Instead, now I feel like the hero of my story, because I've had to triumph over utterances that were really, 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 I don't know. I was offended. I was insulted. A lot was going on. I could have given up on myself. But those utterances didn't shake me. They didn't break me. I learned the real meaning of taking the stones that people throw at you and building a monument. Taking the stones that they're really casting on you and step on them to build something for yourself. I learned that, the true meaning of alchemy. That is why I call myself the alchemist, because I'm able to transform my pain into wisdom. And that's the real flex. That's what I love most about being myself, that whatever you throw at me, it will still work for me. Either way. Whether you thought that you were destroying me, yes, I'll take a knock. I'm human. I'll take a knock. But the outcome might not be the one that you wanted. It might still work in my favor, even though I suffered, because I'm a child of God. It's never going to change. So those are some of the things that I learned. I also learned that I earned this praise. A lot of people look at me going crazy about God, posting this and that, and they don't understand. Maybe they are triggered. Maybe they are irritated. Maybe they are bored. But I earned this praise. I suffered. And if you have suffered like me, if you have gone through the things that I've been through, you will understand why it doesn't matter who says what. What matters is that I made it out alive and in one piece. And I've got the strength. It's not like all is lost. You see, because I chose to be kind to myself in a situation that was really not kind to me. Okay, anyway, another thing, I wrote some points down here because I didn't want to forget. There's no thing that bothers me like that of forgetting a point that might have been valid. So I'm just going to keep looking down here to look at those points. All right, so another thing is that I learned to stop wishing for people's lives. I learned how to appreciate my own life. No matter how it seems, it's okay. It's my life. Because what happens in people's houses is totally different sometimes from the pictures that we see on social media. Instagram will deceive you into thinking that people are happy, into thinking that people are living their best lives. appreciate the life that you have, is a message that I got from the story of my life. Appreciating the life that I've been given, because it is enough. And the most important thing in life is to have peace. Because a home without peace, a partner who does not bring you peace, will destroy you. Bit by bit, step by step, they will destroy you. They will take away your peace. They will take away your joy. Even that drive for life, that thing that makes you to wake up in the morning and grind, they will take it away from you. Because that's how they are. That's the energy that they carry. So in everything, choose a partner who brings you peace. We are already dealing with a lot. A relationship is one less battle that you need to deal with. I believe that. And the next time I get into a relationship, I'll make sure that it is with somebody who brings me peace. It is somebody who values me. Not somebody who expresses their own self-hate through me. Not somebody who mishandles me. Somebody who understands that I'm gentle, broken, worthy, rising, all of those things. So I had to learn. And another thing that I love most about myself, before I end this, that I learned and took away from that situation, I was faithful when I was bleeding. I remember how I used to pray. I remember how when I was feeling down, I'd go to YouTube, start watching sermons, Dr. Miles Monroe. I'll start watching Bishop T.D. Jakes. I'll start watching these sermons that uplifted me. I'll start going to Maya Angelou. You see, the poetry there, uplift myself, because I knew that this person is not out to break my heart. This person is out to break my spirit, and I'm not gonna let him. I can never give him that flow, that to break my spirit. No one has ever. And it's a vow I made to myself that no matter what happens, my heart remains untouched. My heart and my spirit remain intact, no matter what life throws. And that is what I've always been committed in, still am. You see, so I'm thankful. I'm truly, truly thankful for that experience, because it taught me a lot, man, even about South Africa, that I love being in South Africa. I will never relocate ever again to go and stay in another country. South Africa is a lot of things. South Africa has a lot of challenges, but it is home. And there is no place like home. I love the warmth of my people. I love that I am surrounded by people who speak my language. And I love that I'm home, man. I can feel, the warmth of my ancestors from this end. And it's something that I craved when I was on the other side. Sometimes you just want to go home. Sometimes you just want to be with your people. Sometimes you even miss the loud voice at the taxi rank. Yamafela. You just miss that. Sometimes you just miss the random things, like how your people dress, how they speak, And I realized how much these things meant to me when I was away, and how much I will never, ever, ever go and relocate to another country. I'd rather figure out my stuff here. I'd rather find myself home. And I think that is what is happening. So thank you guys once again for joining me. Don't forget to press that subscription button, because if you subscribe, you make it easier for us to connect. You are going to see the post that I'm going to be in the next video. If you subscribe, also our community is growing, and I love to see it grow. Like it's so encouraging, you know, to see you guys, you know, coming closer to me so that we share these experiences. And who knows, maybe in the near future we'll be sharing yours on this very platform, you know, going through stuff that you have been through, because life deals with us all. Life deals with us all. So guys, thank you so much for joining. Please leave your comments. I'm very interested to know what you learn from everything that I share. I'm also interested, you know, to just to get to know you. Who are you? Where you're watching from? And all of that. So from me, thank you so much. I love you. Take care of yourself. Please watch out for those red flags. Watch out from those energy vampires. Stay away from people who drain you. Draw closer to people who feel like sunshine, because you are worth it and because you deserve it. Life is already hard. Life is already stressful. So the last thing you need is to be surrounded by people who still bring more trouble. You might want to think about surrounding yourself more with people who feel like sunshine, with people who give you motivation, you know, the people who give you that oomph to wake up and dollar your thing, dollar what you must. Love you guys so much. It's a peace out from me.